Hello and welcome to Access Paranormal. And tonight we've got a very special guest who's going to be on all night with me because we're going to be talking to Lynn Murphy over in Wales. And Lynn, you're going to be doing a monthly slot, aren't you, for about 15 minutes each month?
I am. I'm very excited about this. As you know, Jamie, for many years now, I've been doing lots and lots of ghost stories. I love it, love it. Years ago, I didn't, but things happened to me and it's just sort of progressed.
Yeah.
But it's progressed to the point where I've got to get the story out of it. So there's never smoke without fire, or fire without smoke, I should say. There's no fire without smoke. There's always a backstory, always. And it's finding that backstory. But it's the stories people say, their experiences. And I've had quite a lot of experiences. So I'm starting mine with localised ones first and personal ones. And then I'll go on to other things in Wales.
Yeah, it's all going to be Wales. And what are we going to call it, Lynn? We just come up with the name?
Yes, we did. And it's called The Welsh Connection with Lynn Murphy. How exciting is that? How exciting.
It's good because we've got a few others doing it as well. We have Jack-o'-lantern telling us little ghost stories. We've got Junior Paranormal. They give a Junior Paranormal report because they're young kids, you see. And it's nice to see them, you know, being nurtured into the paranormal. And
I think it's good, that.
Yeah. You've not met them yet, have you?
No, I'm not sure if I've seen them at the Parafest in Northwich in September.
Yes, you did.
I may have seen them there. But there was that much going on. I've never been to one before because I don't really throw myself into a lot of stuff like that. It's normally I'm independent with stuff, but I do other stuff as well, you know. But any opportunity that comes up now and again, which I'm happy about, I'll jump in. But I'm sure I met them, I've seen them there at the Parafest.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even know because me and Marie went, look what we've missed. We'd have loved to have gone to that. So,
come with me next time.
Definitely. Oh, 100% we will, yeah. Because we knew we knew a lot of the people who've gone there as well, Haunted Scouts. You know, they were there, and we've known them for a long time, for quite a few years now.
I think they're the ones. I was the only one in there laughing.
Yeah. No, they're all right. They're nice lads. In fact, they were on a couple of weeks ago. I'd done 2 shows with them because they were in Mill Street. I went down to Mill Street and he had a night with them, and we managed to record an investigation, which was really good, Lynn. We had a chair. Yeah. We had a chair go down onto the floor. With
Where
no
was
one
that?
around. In the main hall. Actually, in the main hall.
Wow.
So, like,
see, I find that room very interesting, see, Jamie, because you can just walk through there. And the first time I ever went there, I felt it in there straight away. And ever since I've been there, there's always something different. I mean, remember the time when you were having people from the theatre singing 40 songs, which went, remember
I
that?
do, yeah.
Yeah, all the actresses and that, and they were there, and they were playing like over, is it Bluebirds Over the White Cliffs of Dover, and they were singing, and activity was happening. Because I believe if you go to a certain area, doesn't matter where you are on this planet, and dress up in the mode that you want to come through and make it happen, something will happen.
Do you know what? I agree with you there, because how many times have you ever done it where you're sitting there and you're talking and a song comes on the radio and you go, hold on, I love this song. And it distracts you straight away. You go, oh, I love this. I remember this when I was younger and things like that. And it must happen. When you think of spirits, they're just an energy of us, really. They're the same as us, but just an energy. And surely if they can hear us and they can hear them songs, they must be the same. They must go, oh, I used to love this song. Or, oh, my God, this is one of my songs I like. I remember this. So it must be the same for them.
Well, I think it is, because I proved a point once. I didn't intend to prove anything, to be honest with you. Just happened, right? And one particular night, I went with some people up It's quite funny actually because we turned up. I was dressed as a medieval lady of the woods, right? And somebody that funny noise. Then it wasn't me.
Oh, I didn't hear nothing. You've just given yourself away.
Yeah, it wasn't me. And some guy turns up as a monk, like Friar Tuck, while I was gone. I went, so funny. And somebody turned up as King Henry II, which was part of the story.
Yeah.
So we went into the woods, and something really, really strange happened. So this guy went over the stone bridge down in the valley where the battle took place.
Yeah.
And he started threatening us lot on the other side of the stream. So it's like England versus Wales.
Mm-hmm.
He started it. He decided he was going to try that. The atmosphere changed.
Yeah.
It changed. And it went bad. And there was trees twanging, moving, you know, it was like somebody has jumped on them and it's just enveloped up, and it was just crazy. And then later on we were singing like Christmassy songs, but we tried, and I started singing Ardave, Ardave. And do you know what? Best thing I ever done, because maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, we could hear this lady who sounded like she was across the stream, further down the bank, and she was singing opera in a way that I've never heard before.
Wow.
It didn't last long, but it blew me away, and I thought, well, yes. So on the way out then, so the atmosphere changed again. It was happy, uplifting, because we were singing and we were getting people, spirits, to join in. And then on the way out, we were hearing penny flutes and everything. It's amazing. Wow. Amazing.
Because when you think about it, and you're triggering something, because how many times have you seen it on social media where somebody puts something and you go, do you remember these? And it could be old sweet packets and you go, oh my God, Spangles, oh my God, them.
Yeah.
You know, and it brings back memories to us. So when you take, you know, when you turn around and you say take trigger objects, if they can see what we're putting out, it must trigger things for them as well, because it's a natural thing to do.
Yeah, so in that area where we were, when it turned a bit bad, there's a porthole there.
Yeah.
Things come in and out of that porthole at certain times, and it's some's good, some's not good. But we done it in that area, number one, because it was the area where the battle was originally, and number two, I knew there was a porthole there.
Wow.
So I wanted to see, experiment really in a way, but not, to see if anything did happen. And it did, and it brought nice things out eventually. Well, I was very uplifted and happy that these spirits or energies, whatever you want to call them, were there with us and enjoying what we were doing.
And that's Wepre Park.
Yeah,
I mean, we've done Wepre Park with you, and there's been some funny moments at Wepre Park. But I remember, I think me and Marie were walking down to meet you, and as we were walking down, Marie seen a white dog go across the path and then disappear into the trees. And she went, "Did you just see that?" And I said, "No." She said, "A white dog's just gone through the bush there." And I went, "Oh, it's probably just a fox or something just gone through." And when you think about it, foxes aren't white. It went through, true. But you automatically try and
talk your way out of it, don't you?
Too right, you do, yeah. Especially when you're walking down, especially when you're walking down Wepre Park. It's a dark place, that is. I think we meant to meet you about 12 o'clock at night.
I remember.
Yeah. Remember that?
You said over up at the castle. I think I'd come off a shift. It was late.
That's right.
I said, right, I'm on my way up.
Yeah.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
But saved me walking through the woods on my own. You met me, didn't you? You and Marie come and met me. Yeah.
Then we went back again. How mad were we? How mad are we? But the castle was fantastic. I mean, we've got to come back and do it. I've not done it yet on the show. I know you done us talk about it a few years back on the show, if you remember rightly in that. But
Yeah.
you know, you're into. I know we're into the paranormal at the moment, but you're also into the UFOs as well. So you'll be talking sometimes about them on the show in your little corner. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Do you know what? It gives me a buzz. It gives me a buzz because I don't know what it is because they're unidentified. But the things that I've actually seen, and I was too scared to tell people at first because you hear so much negative feedback about people seeing this, it's the conspiracy theorists, they're imagining it, and it never happened. So I always say we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting the video evidence, really. That's what I look for, videos. And trying to be realistic about what it could be, the possibility. Because I still believe 99.9% is natural in everything we do.
Yeah.
It's getting that 1%.
Well,
and I've been lucky enough to get quite a lot of that 1%.
Well, you've got the paranormal, you've got the UFOs, you've got the Yetis or the Bigfoots, whatever they call them. Let's talk about the UFOs and the paranormal. They're like level with each other, but I think there's more proof going to be shown with the UFOs than what there is the paranormal. I think because it's a solid item. I think that's going to be proven quicker than the paranormal, because the thing is with the paranormal, you're talking about something you can't see, or you can see allegedly at times. And we've all seen things that we can't explain. But with UFOs, I mean, I'm not a big person into the UFOs personally, but I think there's more chance of you seeing a UFO or proven and I think it's going to happen quite soon. They're going to be proven more than the paranormal. I think the paranormal is one of them where it'll go on for many years, unless it's already been proven, but we don't know. Like anything else, you know, it's kept under wraps once it's proven. But I'm glad in a way because it keeps us pushing forward for it.
See, I think it's all connected. I think the whole lot's connected.
Do you?
Like you've got, I do in a way, because if you look at the Red Indian beliefs, all their spirituality, it's all about spirituality and about their gods and the people coming down. You go and look in the caves that they've got, which they, you know, and look at all the wall paintings. And it's all connected. I mean, I've really, I'm not a professional by no way. I'm not a professional at anything like this, but it's got me gripped. But I try and keep my feet grounded on the whole lot. So if you go back and look at, you go into the Egyptian hieroglyphics there, and you go into all the different palaces and that all around the world. They've got all these pictures in there, which are all the same. Now, for when they had these built, apparently, because they keep changing the age. Yeah, they do keep changing the age of them. People them days wouldn't have known what they were doing across the other side of the planet.
But planes didn't exist then?
No, nothing did.
No.
You know, they had little fishing boats, but like you're going back to like caveman times. They had never had anything. They could just about light a fire, couldn't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it fascinates me that all of these hieroglyphics, a lot of them are the same. And a lot of it's all going back to this UFO theory again. And you've got, I've been reading the Book of Enoch. And I've been looking into all that sort of stuff because I remember, you know, when I was a little kid, so the family was split. So I had my mum's eldest sister used to make us go to the Welsh chapel on a Sunday morning. We used to get picked up with our little hats on and to go down the chapel. Then in the afternoon, we had to go to the C of E. So it was like we had to be shared around the family so that people knew that we were being part of the community. That's how they used to do it. And I used to get in a lot of trouble because when I was a teenager and I was made to go back again, so then it got to a point where they were explaining, the Sunday school teachers were explaining to us about what things really meant.
Mm.
And I got threw out basically because I argued the whole lot, So how come, like, Moses was like 500 or whatever it was years old? How can people live to that age? What's going on?
Yeah.
And how come his dad and his grandfather lived to live 1,000 and something? Doesn't make sense. Oh, shut up, get out,
Yeah.
because they didn't understand then. It was just what was thrown at you. So to me, that's more interesting, the backstory of the Bible. So I'm looking into that, and it's all connected, because you look at, it all connects to caves, it all connects to the way people were in different places around the world, Mexico, Peru, and everywhere else. And they all got the way they lived. They all had the religions and the hieroglyphics, and how did they build these buildings so precise. And they're still finding things these days.
Was the Mayans? The Mayans.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, the stuff they're finding. And every time they find something really interesting, they knock that history off and make a new history.
Yeah.
So it's continually changing. So it's really interesting to see what these people are finding, and getting the views of the professionals, if they are professionals, because sometimes they're not really professionals. They're just going by what they've been told. So this is that, that's that. Yeah. So it's interesting, but it's all connected. The whole lot's connected, and everything's connected to spirituality. So the Egyptians had the sun gods, and the cats and everything else, and then you've got the Japanese dragons. So it's their version of the dragon. We've got our own version. What are dragons? Are they alien dragons? Are they something else? So every religion in different countries have got their own version of what they think of as gods and how they came down, and that they've all got their own story.
Oh, definitely.
Makes you wonder whether it is UFOs though, because the pictures they painted on the walls, and even artists 700 years ago were coming out with paintings with globes in the sky.
So there must be something.
There's something there.
We can't be the only ones in the universe. It's impossible for us to be the only ones.
Yeah.
Because
that's right.
There'd be no explanation of why we're the only ones. There's nothing to. There's no reason why we would be.
No, there isn't, and it's fascinating. You say to me, "What would you do now?" Right, so you're out. We're going out, all of us, one night, and we're going on a little walk somewhere, finding somewhere interesting on a hill or whatever. And this UFO turns up. What would you do? What would you actually do?
Wet myself.
Because it would be quite frightening, wouldn't it? When you think of that, it would be frightening.
It'd be like you're scared of the unknown. Everyone's got a nerve of the unknown. You turn the lights off and you automatically your senses kick in, because you can't see what's in front of you or behind you or anything. If you go down a dark alley, anywhere which is dark and you're on your own, you're alert. So if something like that appeared in front of you, I don't know what you'd do. I mean, you wouldn't do what that woman said. Was it the funniest thing I always remember? And think it was what was it called? And I can't remember what it was called. And the woman that disposed of the spaceships supposed to have landed in the front garden, and the first thing she went is, "Would you like a cup of tea?" That's a typical English thing to do. It was years ago. It was that, when they used to say, "You're watching us, watching me, watching you, watching whatever it was." I don't know what it was. Not You've Been Framed. It was the one before that. There was Matthew Kelly on it, and the lady in that. And I still remember that. That's the one which I remember of all of them, when the spaceship's supposed to have landed in the living room, in the front garden, and this alien was standing there and she was looking at me, hello, you know, really slow. Probably on YouTube. She goes, would you like a cup of tea?
Like the thick.
Can you imagine on a hill, UFO comes down, do you want a cup of tea? Yeah, I've got a flask for you. No, but I need the phone. I need the phone to ring home. Have you got a mobile? Easy. But serious on the serious side, I don't. I think I'd be really scared because you don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to take you?
No.
Are they going to torture you? Are they going to kill you?
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, that there's been 2 incidents. I've had quite a few incidents with UFOs.
Yeah.
I've seen. I'll talk about it deeper on another time, but I've seen 2, or was it 3, black triangles with witnesses.
Right.
I've seen a few silver orbs. There's quite a few things I've seen, but the best one was near Cardigan.
Yeah.
And I'll go into details in that. It was in 2011, and it all happened when I went outside the tent for a wee at 2:30 in the morning.
There you go. I said you'd wet yourself if you saw one.
Well, that was very, very frightening. I was so curious. And when I eventually got the guts to go and have a look, see what was going on, which I'll tell you about another time, and I actually seen, and in my head, I thought, oh, it's UFO. No, it's not. No, what is it? So I went through everything that it could possibly be, and I couldn't understand it, but things happened then. And when I knew it had spotted me, it was like a void, like it would go, whoa, zooming in. And I actually ducked behind the hedge. Yeah. I was petrified. I thought, do I get up? Will they see me? Are they going to come for me? So I pegged it. I pegged it back to the tent. But my legs were going faster and I felt like I was in slow motion and going backwards. It was a very frightening time because I was on my own. Yeah. At that point, on my own. If I'm with other people, I'm all right. But that was the most surreal thing that's ever happened, ever. See, but I will tell you about that on another story, yeah.
I'll keep you to that, but I've never seen anything like a UFO to try and say, yeah, I've seen one. I've never seen one yet.
Yeah.
I've seen unusual things in the sky, but with military now, you don't know what you're seeing up there.
No, because they're so advanced, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Where they're getting that from? They haven't just picked the top scientists who knew everything about it. They didn't know anything about what happened in the 80s. We got CDs, and that was just fantastic how they managed to get, and you get the watches with the little memories in, and it was all that sort of stuff. And it's amazing, really, what they've actually come out with. So we've gone from making fires with 2 sticks to all this advanced knowledge that we've got now. So where's it come from?
Do you know what? It's hard to explain that because even in our lifetime, the advancement we've made is incredible.
Yeah.
From leaving school, we had calculators. To now talking to you via WhatsApp on the computer, recording it for a radio show, which it's you can't imagine it, can you? I mean, I wouldn't have never ever thought of having a computer in the room.
No.
But I've always said, if you think of Star Trek, they had a beam me up, Scotty. What's the name? And it was a folding one. They used to flick it open, didn't he? Go beam me up, Scotty, or beam me up, whoever was on shift that day. And but when you think about it, we ended up with mobile phones, and I've always said, and I've said this to Marie, and I've said it to everybody, when you watch something on the TV, I think they're feeding it into the films for us to get used to it. And
Yeah,
I've always said that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you look at well, what's it called? Back to the Future, and he had a
Oh, amazing.
he had a hoverboard.
Yeah,
What can you buy now?
hoverboards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think, and
amazing.
I mean, it might just be my imagination, but I do think that they put things on the TV for you to get used to it. You know,
Yeah,
in
so it's not going to
movies.
be a shock.
No, and the same. We had Tomorrow's World,
Yeah, we
and
did.
they used to talk about things in Tomorrow's World. Okay, they got some things wrong, but again, they were saying this is what could be happening. I think they knew it was going to be happening because they were showing you the items.
Yeah,
So they were
exactly.
there. They just knew. And somebody else has said that they've said to me, we're 50 years behind our advance. We think that we're already 50 years behind technology now. We think it's already there. It's just that they feed it to us gradually and they get more advanced technology in like the military, the government and everything else. There's stuff out there we don't even know. I mean, we'll never know about.
See, what does my head in, right? So you get a computer and you get like I like Windows 7.
Mm-hmm.
You just get used to it, then it's Windows 8, then it's 9, then it's 10 and 11, and it's just getting more. And you think, they're just doing that. Why don't they just take us to where the most advanced part is?
Yeah.
We'll buy one of them. But no, it's because they're all making money on it all the way through, aren't
It's
they?
all money. Yeah. That's all it is. I mean, I've got this computer now, and it's a belting computer. But a year after I bought this, it's probably mid-range or something like that. You know, because the technology. We were talking about drones before, me and you, and you know, you get so many different kinds of drones, and the technology in some of them is incredible. You've seen it. You've seen it with the I don't know whether you've seen the New Year celebrations when they had the drones. I think it was China or Japan, and they had a dragon going through like a circle, and it was all drones.
Yeah.
How the hell did they do that?
Amazing. Do you know what I went to a couple of years ago? Do you know when they had the Eurovision Song Contest in Liverpool?
Yeah.
So we went to like the pre-party one. I went with my daughter and some of the grandkids just to watch it. And it was, you know, I'm not really into that, but it was good fun and everything. But it was the drone show.
Right.
Right. They had a drone show. And you couldn't hear them, Jamie. And there was hundreds of them, and it was like watching pictures move in the sky. So if they can do that without any noise,
what else can they do?
What else can they do? Or is it hieroglyphics they've made for the sky?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, like messages.
Yeah. It's amazing. So that always stuck with me. So it sort of spoiled it a bit in a way. Oh God, no, that's what it is. They've already, but it's everything that's going on now. I think, it's a distraction from other world anomalies that's happening. But it's some of these drones are not normal.
No.
They're not normal. Some are. The majority are. And I know they're ours. Well, I think they know they're ours. So you just pick things up. But you know, they said a while back we're going to have a false UFO surge over around the world, and they're going to be hovering around on the sea for a long time before they come and land. But I think this is a false one.
Yeah.
I think it's the false one. It's a lead up to the Trump inauguration, isn't it?
Yeah, it's deflecting what's going on. They're very good at deflecting things, and that you know, there's nothing we can do about it. We've all become millions of us have all become conspiracy theorists.
Apparently, yeah.
I think YouTube is the big one. How many times do we watch conspiracy theorists and go, whoa? But now it's getting to the point where you can't believe everything you see on on the channels, because our technology, we've just been talking about technology, they can do things now, and you know, if you think about, have you seen the one where you can get the spider what crawls across your face? Have you not seen that one?
No.
Go on YouTube and just put funny spider on face. They're hilarious. But if they can do that where it looks like a real spider's crawling on your face, what is out there that they're saying are ghosts, but they're not? It's technology. One of the biggest companies brought out an app, and you could actually put ghosts as if a ghost was walking behind you, and it looks real. So even if you're a genuine paranormal investigator, it's getting harder and harder to prove it because of technology.
Yeah, you see, you know, you watch different shows that are on and different groups, and you see how they're using technology to build their station up, and it looks really clever. But when you find something, you think, oh wow, this is interesting. Hold on. And I'm one of these. I have to rewind it and go again, rewind it, go again, screenshot it, zoom in, change the colour, see what's behind it, and I try and find all stuff like that. So I don't believe everything I see.
Yeah.
Until I can prove that it's not actually anything. But it's my bugbear in the paranormal is when you get a recording of a so-called spirit saying something, and you can't understand anything it's saying, and they're making the words up. Oh, it's just said that. Hold on a minute. How can it say? It's just said that. You can't understand what it's saying.
Oh,
you can't.
EVP. As you know, we use one called Spirit Talker.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is experimenting with it. It's not. I don't take it very, very serious. And there's been many a time where we've been in a place and we've gone. We went to a place called Bloody Acre in Gattaca, and we used the Spirit Talker there, and it kept saying names after names after names. Right next door was a graveyard. Now with Spirit Talker, you can take the Wi-Fi off and everything else, and then it came up with the word bones or bone. And we go, well, we're next to a graveyard. It's bound to be it's a bone. You know. I looked down on the floor, and right in front of me was a bone.
No.
Seriously. So I took photographs of it, and a fella who I know called Ken, he used to be a medic years ago. You know, I'm saying years ago, he was a medic, and I showed him the photographs and that, and he went, "Did you report it?" I said, "No." He said, "Let me have a look at it again." So we zoomed in on everything else. He went, "That's probably about 100 years old, lad." He said, "It's a vertebrae of a human."
Wow.
But if you think about it, the graveyard next door, what do wild animals eat? Bones.
Yeah.
So what I think is, sadly, an animal has taken the bone there and had a little chomp on it or whatever it's done, and then just disappeared and left it on the floor. But it was weird that it said bone, and right next to my foot was a bone. And we looked around, there was no other bone there at all.
But you've got to think of it like this way with cemeteries, because I live on the back of a cemetery here, right? Yeah. And on certain parts of it, there's the baby part. And a cousin of mine lives in the house behind there. And every now and again, you get bones coming through from that part because the ground moves, Jamie.
Yeah.
So, you know, that everything's moving down. It's all on a hill. So it's moving down. So you're going to get some things coming up now and again. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, it's like a rubbish tip, isn't it? Over time, things appear on the top because like you said, the earth moves.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it's a strange one, this conversation. But that's what I love, just talking about different things, you know. I mean, sometimes we pick a subject and we pick it and do things like that. But it's nice to have a conversation where you're going from UFOs to the paranormal to theories and things like that. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
And history as well. Remember we went to the cave? Still blowing my mind.
wow,
Still blows my mind to this
yeah.
day.
That was one of my
Honestly,
favourite
it's
places. That,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it's a shame that it's getting wrecked.
it's wrong. I took my son, Mark,
Yeah.
and I think I told you what he was saying about it, don't I? He was saying it's
Yeah,
something to
I
do.
totally agree.
It was big about, and he understood some of the signs and the shields and that on the walls, and he was telling you what they
Yeah.
were. And where
Yeah.
I thought was a seat was where the body laid.
Yeah, that's right. They'd been laid out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like where the monk is.
Yeah.
And they've got that stone bed there. And the stone bed, for people that don't know, they've got a stone bed opposite a monk that sat there.
Yeah.
It's a stone monk.
So it's like
He's had his head taken off. There's a lot of things there. It's had the heads taken off.
Yeah.
It's a bit like certain religions and certain countries, when they've had enough of a certain culture that's been running their country for so long, they get rid of the statues' arms or the noses or the heads. Well, in this cave, there's so much stuff, but a lot of it's had the heads cut off, apart from Cyclops, because it's like 8 foot tall, isn't it? Stuck on the wall.
Off, he's watching over everything. But even the skeleton in the wall.
Love that.
Yeah, my son actually said that's a petrified skeleton. It's an actual skeleton.
It's amazing. It's amazing, that place. And what I like about it is, like your son, I like the it's the not knowing, it's the signalling, it's virtual signalling for what was there at the time. You've got the big the lion at one of the entrances with wings on. That represents power. It's a power thing, and it's all going back to, I'd say, the 1100s.
Yeah,
it might have gone. It might have been popular when they built the big mansion there, which turned into the Abbey, which is now private flats. But at the time, it was great. But that goes back further. When you think about, it could have been a secret hideaway for a meeting place for the nobility, because it's all stuck there with the Welsh dragons, the fleur-de-lis everywhere. I know it's connected with the nuns, but it's funny how it's just slotted in the right places. The little lion on the outside of the door, tucked away. Now, I really think there's an entrance to an underground tunnel there. Yeah, but this bed next to the monk, who's got no head on, it looks like a real bed with real covers, a real pillow. And I think that they've laid them out on there. But they've also got little holes everywhere where it's got like an archway. Some of them have been broken into. So I think that the ashes of very special people have been put into there for safekeeping, and they've been broken into.
They're probably still there. They've probably fallen down, so you can't,
Yeah.
But Mark said...
the whole room... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, Mark said it's a significant place. He said, this is significant. He said, I'm surprised it's not been sealed off and kept, because he said, what's in here is... I mean, he'd go back tomorrow, Mark, because he said he was like gobsmacked at what was there. He said, when I came with you, Dad, I thought it was just going to be a cave and that was it. He said, but I've never seen anything like it.
Do you know what? You just don't know what little treasures you've got hidden in your area. You don't know.
No.
And it's just unbelievable what turns up.
Yeah.
And when you see it, you think, oh God, what's this? But that place is amazing. And what I love about it, it's a little bit like Arthur's round table in the middle. So you've got that little room, the big opening.
Looks like a fire pit or whatever.
Yeah, that would have been a place where people would sit round and have their conversations that they needed to have.
Well, we tried to do an investigation when Mark was there. and the atmosphere changed that much. We'd done it, but we abandoned it in the end because it felt. And Mark's skeptical as anything, and he turned around and said, "Dad, I don't think you should be doing this tonight. I don't think you should be doing anything."
Yeah.
We carried on for a few minutes, and then we went, let's call it, and we called it then because it changed so much. And even Mark and that saw someone. You know where the open is, where the well, I'll call it the fire pit. Where that fire pit is, you look up, it's open, isn't it? They thought they seen someone at the top looking down. So I went outside to see if anybody was waiting to come in, because we were there. There was not a person round, no one.
Yeah. Crackers, isn't it?
And he said he saw them, but he still thinks it was someone who was there looking round. But I said, Mark, we had to climb over everything to get here. It was so muddy. I said, what idiots are going to do that? And he went, us.
Well, remember when we went? And it was a full moon. I think it was a harvest moon.
Yeah.
So as we were walking up there, and we looked to the right, and there's a big hill, and you can see the cows walking along the top, and it looked like they were jumping off the moon.
What was that?
We took photographs.
Yeah. And the badger. The badger was huge. Yeah. me and Ian saw the badger going along.
Yeah. Do you know what?
What a place.
Great.
It was brilliant.
But I'd still like to go down to where you go to your brother's and do an invest down there.
Penmon.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's a must, because we're on about doing that anyway, Lynn. So we're on about doing a few up there. So, next time we stay, we're on about.
Let us know. I'll
doing
be down.
A couple of locations, because there's a group up there what I want to interview as well, because I spoke to them, and I want to have an interview with them as well. So that'll be good as well.
That will be good. Yeah. I'm in.
What's that program? I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a definite, because you'd love all that as well. And I'm hoping Jane Basnett's available as well, because I'd love to get Jane on them.
Yeah, I love Jane. I haven't seen her.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Wepre Castle was the last time I seen her. When we went up there.
Oh, that was good that night.
Yeah. See, I would have stayed, but I didn't realise, so I went home. Yeah.
Oh no, I'd love to do this an interview with the Wepre Castle as well. The people there.
That would be interesting. That. Yes. It'd be interesting to do how they've got it together and how they've actually fixing it and putting money into it and getting it, the volunteers going and getting it all done bit by bit. There's a lot of work to be done on that place. It's quite dangerous still, isn't it?
It certainly is, but beautiful place. If nobody's ever been to Wepre Castle, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to go in. It's on a public footpath.
It is,
which takes you up to the hills, the woods and the hills behind it.
Yeah.
You've never been to that big cave up there, have you?
No, not yet, Lynn. Not yet.
No.
Lynn, we're going to have to
walk, but it's good.
Yeah. Lynn, we've been yapping that long. It's time to put your story on. Now you've gone quiet, haven't you?
Well, all I can say is I hope you enjoy my stories. It's only me, little Lynn, right? So I'm just giving you my life experiences, and I will be bringing things in every month, just adding a bit more on, but you'll find a lot of it's all connected.
Yeah. And it's what was it called again?
It's called my show.
Yeah.
It's called The Welsh Connection with Lynn Murphy.
Put you on the spot there, didn't I?
Yeah.
So for the first Welsh Connection with Lynn Murphy, this is Lynn and her story in Wales.
Hello everyone, my name's Lynn Murphy and I live in a town called Quay, which is in the county of Flintshire, North East Wales. I was born and bred in this town, so I know quite a lot about its history. Today I'm going to tell you a ghost story which is associated with the history of my town and the local area. But first I will tell you some history of our local award-winning park, Wepre Park. At the far end of the park, through the woods, lies an old Motte and Bailey castle. It is known as Ewloe Castle. Why Ewloe Castle? Where it has been built is nearer to the village of Ewloe, even though it is in Connah's Quay woods, so that's its name, Ewloe Castle. The exact year that Ewloe Castle was completed is unclear, due to the lack of records, but it is thought to have been constructed in multiple phases over several decades. The castle has a D-shaped stone tower, which was built by Llywelyn ap Iorwerth, who is known as Llywelyn the Great. This was definitely after 1210. The curtain walls and circular western tower were added by Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, who is known as Llywelyn the Last, nearly 60 years later. The lower courtyard was added later, possibly in 2 phases. The castle was built on a narrow ridge in a hollow surrounded by deep woodland. It was one of the last castles built by a native Prince of Wales. The castle was captured by the English in 1277 and was never used again as a fortified stronghold. By the late medieval period, the castle was in total ruins. The castle has been looked after by Cadw, and a local farmer bought it, but has since been bought by Flintshire County Council and is free to visit. Various periods have been put forward for the original construction, including 1213 to 1218 or 1221 to 1237. So now I'm going to tell you the story of the Battle of Ewloe, also known as the Battle of Coleshill. King Henry II decided to invade Gwynedd to try and stop Owain Gwynedd from expanding his empire into North Wales. Excuse me. Henry had support from 2 very influential people, Madog ap Meredydd, who was the Prince of Powys, also Owain's younger brother, Cadw ap Gruffydd. Cadwaladr had recently been stripped of his lands by his brother Owain because he found out that Cadwaladr had given orders to his men to kill Anarawd ap Gruffydd of Deheubarth, which was a medieval kingdom in South Wales, covering the areas that are now known as Pembrokeshire, Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire. King Henry II led a very large army, said to be as many as 30,000 men. He sent a fleet led by Henry Fitzroy to capture Anglesey and to cut off Owain's supplies. It seems like Henry had based himself at Chester, and on the invasion of Gwynedd, Henry took a smaller force of men and made his way over the salty marshes and moved towards Rhuddlan to capture the castle there. Owain responded by raising a Welsh army of 3,000 men. Owain's army was said to be camped at Basingwark Abbey in the village of Greenfield and were preparing to block the route to Rhuddlan. Owain got word that Henry's smaller army force were marching towards Ewloe Woods to outflank Owain's army. Owain is said to have sent a large army led by his sons Dafydd ap Owain Gwynedd and Connah ap Owain Gwynedd into Ewloe Woods to guard Owain's main force from Henry's outflanked army. Owain split his army and decided to personally lead an extra 200 men into the Ewloe Woods to reinforce his sons' armies. The 2 armies met at Ewloe, and when Henry's outflanked force advanced into the wood, they were ambushed by Owain's forces and cut down in a narrow wooded valley. The remainder of Henry's force retreated, with Henry narrowly avoiding being killed himself. He was rescued by Roger, Earl of Hertford. Further to say, Henry went on to capture Rhuddlan, castle while his English fleet had gone to plunder Anglesey. The Norman troops on board his English ships had been defeated by the local Welsh soldiers. Henry Fitzroy himself had also been killed. So I'm going to tell you a ghost story about the drums of Wepre Park. Few people over the years have told stories of walking through Wepre Woods by Ewloe Castle at night. By the hollow surrounded by the woods where the battle took place. They have reported hearing drums, military drums. I have not really wholly believed the stories of the drums until one night my two sons and their friend had cut through the woods, past the castle and into the hollow. They then heard the drums and ran over the bridge and up the other side of the ridge. As they ran up the steps, a giant multicoloured round light appeared. It was about 6 foot off the floor. One of the lads described the colour of this orb as looking into a pool of water which had petrol in it, and the colours intermingled. The orb moved around and shot off towards the hollow. The lads were petrified and ran home as fast as they could. They literally fell through my front door, followed by their friend. 2 were crying because they were so frightened. I thought about what they had told me, and I asked them if they'd been taking drugs. They denied doing so and said, "Do you really think we would all have done the same hallucination?" And they did have a valid point on that. Years later, I was out on a ghost walk up at these woods with 2 friends. It was freezing cold and we decided to make our way out of the woods to go home. It was about 2:30 a.m. in the morning, and as we walked out, we sat on a bench. I had a drink of water and my 2 friends had a cigarette. I could hear the sound of military drums coming from deep inside the woods, a very deep sound like you would hear from old pigskin drums. There were no other people out in the woods that night except for us. I decided not to say anything to my friends about the drums, only because they would have agreed with anything I said, so I kept quiet. The girl suddenly said that she could hear the sound of drums. Her husband told her to shut up because he couldn't hear anything, which meant he didn't believe her. I then said that I had also heard them. They lasted for about 20 to 30 seconds. The sound of the drums frightened me. That doesn't happen very often, but it was a very genuine fear. He suggested that we go back in. I declined the offer. Firstly, it was now about 2:40 a.m. in the morning and it was icy cold. Secondly, I felt if we had gone back in, something bad would have happened to us. So we went home. This marked the start of many paranormal events in the woods that have continued for years, and of which I will tell you about next time.
So that was Lynn Murphy with a fantastic story from Wepre Park, and that's going to be on every month, and it's going to be called The Welsh Connection with Lynn Murphy. Absolutely brilliant, loved it, and I was so pleased that she could come on the show tonight. We had a few hiccups trying to get it sorted out because obviously she had to come on via WhatsApp, would you believe? We had to do it a certain way to get the record, but we got there in the end. We had a good laugh doing it. We were just trial and errors, and it was brilliant. She's so good at talking stories. I just had to get her on. The same with what was his name? Jack-o'-lantern. Sorry, I forgot that thing. He's on every week with the stories except this one, and also with the Common Mystics, and also with Junior Paranormal. So I'm getting a little collection there to to give you the change, really, instead of you having to listen to me all the time, which I'm sure you'll be grateful for. But yeah, Lynn, she lives over in Wales, so I thought, you know what, she's fantastic with her ghost story, she's fantastic with her history. Why not get her on? I've known her must be going back 15 years now, around 15 years. We've had some good laughs together. We've been on plenty of paranormal investigations together. We always have a good laugh over one, which we've done in Hack Green, where we both felt something go past us, and she grabbed me hand that tight. I had to say to her, do us a favour, then let go of my hand. I need some blood circulation to my fingers. Always laugh about that, but you had to be there to understand what that one's about anyway. She's always full of laughter. No matter what you do, she's got this. Well, you've heard the laughter anyway. You know what she's like, and that's what she's like all the time. Always full of energy. And we will be meeting up with Lynn a few more times, along with Jane Basnett. We want to get Jane Basnett along, because Jane Basnett, when you talk to her, she's brilliant as well to listen to. So hopefully we might even team up Jane Basnett, me, Marie and Lynn. Who knows? That's for the future as well, here in 2025. But anyway, again, we're coming up to the end of the show, which is a shame. I really enjoy doing these shows, and I appreciate you listening to it and enjoying it as well. And I've got to say again, a huge thank you to Lynn Murphy. Listen out for her stories every month under the Welsh Connection. I've got to go now. It's the end of the show. I'll be back again next week from Access Paranormal. Will you say then? Good night.